Right now at 5, a Joplin elementary school draws concerns following a health inspection.
And we've got a mild start to the day, another breezy one out there. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a federal court awards a historic judgment to the Show Me state against a foreign government.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAO Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday and it is March 11th, and it is going to be a nice day yet again across the area. Hopefully everybody had a great Monday.
It was a beautiful Monday. Just
perfect.
Great.
It was excellent
So
out there, and I think Mother Nature's a little confused because it's going to be a little more like early May today than early March. It's going to be very warm outside, and not that we're complaining.
No.
We could still see some rain this week. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. But today, looking fantastic. And let's start with a look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking pretty good so far this morning. Skies, once again, are clear, and that's how they will be for us through the day today. MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline also looking good so far. Again, road's pretty deserted at this point, but they won't stay that way. On to the future track we go, and by noon, we have those gusty southwest winds again, but look at these temperatures by noon today. Already, many of us upper 60s, low 70s, and that is ahead of, this business. That's what I'm talking about. These temperatures more like early May instead of early March. So a very warm day out there, and another breezy one as well. Now, we don't have any red flag warnings at this point, but still, it's going to be dry. It's going to be breezy. Outdoor burning not recommended. 55 in Pittsburgh, and again, the airport reporting station not reporting, but there is a backup station that this map has, putting Joplin at 54. Look at these temperatures compared to yesterday morning. They look great. Most of us in the low to mid 50s, a few upper 40s out there, but again, not a bad start to the day at all. So kids getting on the bus, depending on how they feel with the breeze, maybe a light jacket, low 50s. Southwest winds gusting to 25 and clear skies. Clear when they come home at 79 for most of us when that bus brings them back. Southwest winds still gusting to about 30. That's where our highs are headed today, into the upper 70s to right around 80. And some of our southern counties may even reach the low 80s for today. So well above normal. And we could be near some record highs for some of us as we head into the afternoon. Now, we do have some slight rain chances tomorrow. We'll talk about that. And we've got those thunderstorm chances Friday that I know everybody's going to get nervous about. Well, I have some good news. I have some news in general about those. All of that coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Cherokee County authorities investigate a weekend stabbing incident. Cherokee County deputies responded to a report of a physical disturbance Sunday when they arrived at the scene on the 1700 block of Northwest Highway 7. Deputies discovered gunshots had been fired, but no one was struck. Authorities learned 2 people had left the scene and one of them had possibly been stabbed. When deputies located the injured subject, they found that was the case. Now, authorities took the 23-year-old subject to Mercy Hospital Columbus and then by med flight to a Joplin hospital. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Missouri Attorney General secures a historic judgment against the Chinese Communist Party yesterday. A federal court ruled that Missouri had evidence to prove that China caused and exacerbated the COVID-19 pandemic, harming Missourians. Now, that ruling is supposed to cost the Chinese government over $20 billion, 6 times more than the previous largest judgment in Missouri history. Missouri will now move to collect the judgment and, if necessary, will look to identify and seize Chinese-owned assets, including Missouri farmland. And a reminder to all Missouri residents that the last day to register to vote in the April election is this Wednesday, tomorrow. Now, whether you choose to vote online or in person, you must be 18 years of age or older by the time of the election in order to vote. And you must provide some form of ID like a driver's license, passport, or birth certificate. Now, here's typically what will be on the ballot on April 8th.
We always remind people it's important if you want to have your voice heard in terms of the city council issues, school board issues, fire protection districts. All those are the opportunity to be able to get registered and make sure that when you go to vote, you let your voice be heard.
Now, once registered, you will be assigned a specific polling location that will appear on your voter ID card. If you can't make it on election day, you also have the option to either absentee vote in person or by mail, as well as an in-person no excuse absentee voting. Lawmakers in Arkansas passed a bill to provide firearms training to students. Now, the bill would require public school districts and open enrollment public charter schools to annually provide students with instructions on firearms safety. Now, the bill would empower the Arkansas State Game and Fish Commission to work with the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to create and approve age-appropriate firearm safety courses. House Bill 1117 does state that if an option of live fire training is approved, parents will have to give consent. And health inspectors say they found some concerns in the kitchen area of Joplin's Cecil Floyd Elementary School. They cite contamination from mice. Now, in response, the school district says in part, quote, "We are working closely with pest control professionals and our custodial team to thoroughly address the problem and increasing preventative measures to ensure this does not happen again." Now, altogether, 7 places in Joplin failed the health inspection. They include a gas station, convenience store, a motel, and some restaurants. The Joplin Health Department has made it easier for the public to get access to those reports. You'll find a link at KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Webb City boys basketball faces Parkview in a district championship game. We'll have the details. Plus, Guatemala's volcano of fire erupts, forcing evacuations and threatening thousands. And we have a warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Missouri high school basketball, fewer and fewer of our local teams remain alive in the playoffs. Last night, one hopes to win a district championship while 2 others try to advance to the state quarterfinals. Class 5 District 6 championship in the Cardinal Dome. Webb City taking on Parkview. Their last matchup wasn't even close. First quarter, Parkview with an early lead. Josiah Greek knocks down the corner 3 and the Vikings are up by 6. Later in the first, Cardinals finding their rhythm. Holden Keith takes the contact and he knocks it off the glass and in, plus the foul. Parkview leading by 3 after 1 quarter. In the second, Trey Turner finds Mason Young and he drains the 3 to give Webb City its first lead. Cardinals up by 3 at halftime. So third quarter, we continue to go back and forth. Easton Nash hits a 3 ball from the top of the key. And the Vikings go back on top. Webb City again keeping it tight. Eli Pace with the nice pass to Dalton Briggs. He connects from the corner. Cardinals up 1 going into the fourth. Down the stretch, a couple of big turnovers lead to that. Elias Govan gets vertical, and that's all but it does it. That all does it, rather. Cardinals unable to overcome some mistakes late in the fourth. Parkview wins district championship in hostile territory, 52-40. Webb City finishes up as district runner-up. Moving over to Class 4, Aurora boys basketball has its season come to an end last night. The Hound Dogs fall to Logan Rogersville 73-51 in sectionals. A similar story up in Nevada. The Tigers fall to Center High School 45-36 in a Class 4 sectional. They finished the year with a record of 21-7. Over in Kansas, 7 of our local teams have earned a trip to the state tournament. One of those is Girard girls basketball. The Lady Trojans are back at state for the 2nd year in a row after going 21-2, earning a sub-state championship.
It's a really great opportunity to be able to go to state. A lot of teams don't get it, and especially this is our 2nd year going back to back.
We've developed a lot. We've had some young girls have to step up and play some bigger roles, but we've just been in that gym grinding every day and working as hard as we can to be the best team out there.
At first it was a little choppy, like our defense and offense was. We were just still getting used to it, and now we're really setting to there, and our defense and offense has definitely improved.
We talked about the giant killers with this group, and And they've kind of become the giant killers. They study scouts as well, or better maybe. The intensity these guys have on defense is just unbelievable. I've done this 26 years, and this is as good as I've seen as far as the defense, and I've had a lot of really, really good defenses.
Colgan boys basketball also practicing at Pitt State yesterday evening in preparation for a trip to state. In the quarterfinals, Panthers faced the two-time defending state champion, undefeated Mound Ridge, but they've been battle-tested all season.
I think we're kind of, taking confidence in our approach and our schedule that we've been talking about, and just drawing confidence that we've played a lot of good teams like this. So, in all those games, it's just you want to win the game, but you got to break it down and take it quarter by quarter and take it, 4-minute stretch by 4-minute stretch.
It feels good that we were able to still play because last year our season got cut short. We lost in a game that we probably shouldn't have, but it's good to be back in Manhattan.
It definitely motivated me. Last year as a freshman, it hurt losing those seniors and losing with them. And, like every practice we say St. Isidore pray for us just to get back to the church in Manhattan.
Well, still to come, a new study reveals that Americans borrowed $74 billion to cover medical bills in 2024. Plus, got another check of that forecast and some of those thunderstorm chances when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:16 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start the future track for today. Another clear, breezy, and very warm day. Temperatures well above average across the area. And we'll still have to deal with those gusty southwest winds pushing about 30 miles an hour at times. So that might help a little bit with some of this early May kind of heat that we're experiencing out there. And of course will lead to a very mild overnight. We'll have a few clouds overnight, and then clouds will begin to increase late in the morning into the afternoon on our Wednesday. Still breezy. Southwest winds continuing to gust at about 20, so not as breezy. Clouds do bring temperatures down a degree or two for some of us. And then late in the day on Wednesday, we could get a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, primarily along and south of I-44. You see, we've got a low pressure system that's kind of spinning and moving off to the north and east, and it gets just close enough that we could get a shower or storm out of it. No severe weather is expected with any of that activity. In fact, we can show you on the severe outlook thing, this light green color. The reason it's not in the key is because that's just for general thunderstorms, and it's right along and south of I-44, and again, that will be into tomorrow evening. We're also talking about Friday storms, and there's some news on that front, which we're going to get to here momentarily. Temperatures this morning very mild, some upper 40s, most of us low to mid 50s out there, so a very warm start to the day, and it will remain that way. Low 50s by 8 o'clock, mid 60s by 11. It's still sunny, still breezy, but otherwise a textbook like May the 3rd or something like that. It's definitely warmer than what it should be, with our highs right around 80 degrees for most of us, and those southwest winds continuing to gust to 30. Clear skies through the evening. Clouds don't begin to increase until after midnight tonight, and even then it'll only be a few of those. Back into the low 50s. South winds still gusting to 25. Now we head into Friday, and you're going to notice that the future track has already changed quite a bit. We are still looking at showers and some thunderstorms on Friday. It's the severe risk that we're watching very closely, because for some folks it could be somewhat significant, but for us it's not looking to be that significant. But we're still going to continue to monitor it. Anything we see will be late in the afternoon and into the late evening hours on Friday, with a very powerful low pressure system off to our north that's going to bring in those storms. So you see that darker green and everything off to our east. We're still at this point looking at a greater severe threat to our east. So we go into Friday, this lower risk, the possible risk, if you recall, was about here. It's now been moved further east, and they've expanded the higher severe risk out to our east as well, but they've shortened it back here. Now again, I'm still thinking thunderstorms for us as we head into Friday late afternoon and into the late evening hours, but the severe threat has come down a bit. Now of course it's still early, we're still a few days out. We'll get more information over the next couple of days days, but at least that's some good news. While it's still into our area, it's not covering as broad of an area as we were originally looking at yesterday. But again, we'll continue to monitor those storm chances for you. So again, tomorrow, some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder by late evening tomorrow south of I-44. And again, a degree or two cooler, upper 70s, still some of us low 80s. We warm right back up, though, on Thursday. A few clouds here and there, right around 80 again. So by Friday, we'll keep an eye on those thunderstorm chances and the rain chances. I think we're going to see activity. It's just a question on whether or not it'll be severe. And that low pressure does drop our temperatures this weekend. It brings them back to normal, and then we'll warm back up for the start of next week. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, Americans are borrowing billions of dollars to cover their medical expenses. A recent Gallup poll has found last year 31 million Americans borrowed a total of $74 billion to cover medical bills. More than half of the respondents said they've borrowed at least $500 to pay for their health care. The survey found people under the age of 50 tend to borrow more to cover medical expenses than older Americans. Only 9% of Americans 50 to 64 years old and just 2% of people 65 and older said they had to borrow money to cover their health care costs. Now, the poll also found 3 out of 5 Americans under the age of 65 say they are somewhat or very concerned about potential medical debt. Well, a mother's diet during pregnancy may increase a child's risk of autism and ADHD. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen determined that if a pregnant woman eats a more typical Western diet, high in fat, sugar, and refined products, her child has an increased risk of having a developmental disorder. Now, the study looked at more than 500 Norwegian children who have a developmental disorder and studied what their mothers ate during pregnancy. Next, they studied the diet association between more than 60,000 Norwegian mothers and their children and recognized that even in the slightest movement toward a more Western diet, there was an increased risk of autism and ADHD in the child. Well, over the past 30 years, cases of young onset colorectal cancer, have increased by more than 50%, according to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. Now, a recent study finds 3 main factors are increasing risks of the disease. Mandy Gaither talks to one of the researchers and has the 4 most commonly reported warning signs that everyone should know.
It's a troubling trend. New cases of colorectal cancer in people under age 50 have been rising at an alarming rate over the past several decades, and by 2030, it's expected to become the leading cancer-related cause of death for people ages 20 to 49.
We've always thought of colorectal cancer as a disease that mostly affects older people, and over the last couple of decades, we've seen the age for colorectal cancer go down.
Dr. David Liska with Cleveland Clinic says it's still not clear why, but says 3 main factors can increase a person's risk of developing colorectal cancer: having a sedentary lifestyle, having obesity, and eating a diet high in red or processed meats.
I also have plenty of patients, unfortunately, with colorectal cancer who are young and healthy and fit and don't smoke and don't drink and eat a healthy diet and still get colorectal cancer. So while we know some of the risk factors, we don't know all of them.
Liska says everyone should be aware of the 4 signs more commonly reported in people who develop colorectal cancer: abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, diarrhea, and iron deficiency anemia.
One of the important things to realize is that colorectal cancer is very treatable, and if caught early, it's in most cases curable.
The best way to detect and prevent colorectal cancer is screening. It's recommended for everyone at average risk, beginning at age 45. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, people at higher risk of developing colorectal cancer includes people with a family history of colorectal cancer, those with an underlying disease like ulcerative colitis or inflammatory bowel disease, or anyone with a genetic condition that has predisposed people to the disease. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got a very warm and windy day ahead of us. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, Pittsburgh schools decide whether to lengthen the school day to make up for missed snow days.
And no snow in our forecast. Warm and windy today. We'll have a look at the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a high school senior in Oddities receives a surprise and some high honors for their civic work.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It's March the 11th. We are getting closer to the official start of spring, and it is going to feel a little closer to the official start of summer with our temperatures later today.
Complain about that?
No, not at all. We've had some pretty nice weather here lately, and we're looking to hang on to it for a while as well, which is good because I'm so done with the cold, and I know I'm not the only one who's done with the cold.
It was a rough winter.
It really was.
And I know we're not exactly out of winter yet.
Yeah, technically, I mean, for now, we're still in winter, but I think we're really starting to transition out of it, which is good because it needs to warm up. And today, a very warm day indeed. Let's start with the look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Another beautiful start to the day. Skies are clear. We are warmer this morning. Yesterday, we were seasonably cold. For most of us in the 30s, we are much warmer than that this morning. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking good as well. Folks beginning to get their day underway on what is going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. The future track for us this afternoon. Nothing to show other than those wind arrows continuing to race. So we don't have any red flag warnings in the area, but I'm going to tell you now with the gusty winds and the warm and dry conditions that we're expecting today, still wouldn't recommend any kind of outdoor burning because it still wouldn't take much for those to potentially get out of control, especially with the winds we're going to see today. Temperatures right now, it's 54 in Pittsburgh, and again, Joplin Airport not reporting at this time. At the backup station, Joplin is at 53. We do have some upper 40s, Neosho Sedan, for example, in Nowata, but most of us are into the low to mid 50s, so not a bad start to the day at all, considering yesterday we started, what would that be? About 15 degrees cooler than this, so not a bad start whatsoever. Kids getting on the bus, depending on what their tolerance is with the breeze, we'll have those southwest winds gusting to 25. I'll be in the low 50s, so they may want a jacket, they may not. It'll be clear. Clear skies when the bus brings them back home. 79. Southwest winds gusting to 30. So that's what I mean. It's starting to feel a little closer to summer, a little more like early May versus early March out there. We're looking at highs right about 80, so some of us upper 70s, others low 80s. And again, those southwest winds gusting to about 30 miles an hour. We do have some slight rain chances tomorrow. We'll talk about that. And I know everybody's really keeping an eye on Friday. We'll have the latest on what we're expecting as we head into Friday with those storm chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, more low-income housing could be on the way to Pittsburgh. This is through a partnership of the nonprofit Building Health, Inc., which is a subsidiary of the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, a Vecino Group, a company that provides affordable housing. The low-income apartment complex would be located adjacent to Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, which is donating the land. Now, the apartment would be 42 units and 12 units reserved for people with persistent mental illness and or a co-occurring disorder and are exiting homelessness. Now, the city of Pittsburgh has committed a low interest loan of $170,000 toward the project.
We do not have an overnight shelter. We don't have transitional housing. And honestly, the best solution to homelessness is housing, permanent housing. So pleased to have a partnership with Vecino Group where they recognize the need for permanent supportive housing and are willing to set aside some units for that.
Now, their next steps to make this a reality is applying for income tax credits from the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. They'll find out if they've been approved in August. Now, if approved, Vecino Group anticipates construction to start in the first quarter of 2026. And the Pittsburgh USD 250 School Board made an early decision last night not to extend the school day to make up for missed days. Now, so far, the district has used 6 snow days, which only leaves a half day remaining for potential days off. Now, last night, the board faced 3 choices. The first, to add 5 minutes to the end of each school day through the end of the year, or to convert the final half day of school on May 23rd to a full day. The third choice, don't make any changes right now.
Currently, right now, the Board of Education tonight chose not to change our current class calendar or schedule because we still have about 1/2 of a day of school that was built into the calendar in case we have, for example, inclement weather.
So if the district doesn't lose any more snow days, the last day of school will be as it currently stands, a half day on May 23rd. A student from Neodesha High School is making history as the first person in Kansas to receive the prestigious John Lewis Youth Leadership Award given by the National Association of Secretaries of State. Now, this honor recognizes young individuals who inspire their communities through civic engagement. Senior Tucker Leck was caught by surprise when Kansas Secretary of State Scott Schwab paid him an unexpected visit during his Spanish class to deliver the news.
One day I do hope to run for governor of Kansas, and I'm the type of person, not to be political, but to be objective, is I believe that every single citizen ought to have the opportunity to contribute to our republic. And I tell everyone that if I ever am elected governor, the Capitol will be an open office for any citizen to come in and have a conversation with me.
He's very motivational to a lot of folks that don't believe much in this upcoming generation. He's an example of why we should.
Leck goes on to say he plans on attending Notre Dame, where he, of course, will study political science. Well, Pittsburgh High School Theater brings the legendary story of the unsinkable Molly Brown to life on stage. The journey of Molly Brown follows her life as she takes on high society, fights for what she believes in, and survives the Titanic with unshakable spirit.
I play Emma Stetson. I have a featured ensemble role. She was a real historical figure, and she was a religious activist. And I think being in the ensemble, I get to be in a lot of different dance numbers with a lot of different people, but Emma Stetson's really important because of her real life activism.
The PHS Theater Department will perform this tale from history live on the Pittsburgh Memorial Auditorium stage. Performances are this Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and then on Saturday at 2 in the afternoon. And 8 Joplin High School alumni were inducted yesterday into the Jet HD Wall of Fame. Jet HD, also known as Joplin Eagles Television, is celebrating its 25-year anniversary. The program teaches students about audio and video broadcasting. Inducted alumni are those who have taken what they've learned from the program into the real world, including TV reporters, photographers, and musicians. KOAM's very own Chris Warner, class of 2005, and Samantha Walker, class of 2020, were inducted.
Jet HD is the reason I went into television. When I started this program, I thought it was just another way to maybe learn how to speak better, be a better journalist, because I wanted to do print. But this is the program that told me I wanted to go into TV. So I would go back to that person now, as I was as that student, and say, hey, your career is going to change.
It was learning a little more in depth than what I could learn on the job, because at that time I was still more behind the scenes at my broadcasting job. This was giving me more on air, if you will, experience in writing and producing and shooting and interviewing as well, conducting interviews with students and staff at the school.
Whole hallway up with kids. I want to celebrate as many kids that go through this program that do awesome things. It just shows you that they're capable of doing it, and I want to celebrate their successes.
Well, the instructors of the Jet HD program say they hope to soon have a full wall of alumni as they continue to teach students. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A one-day strike at 13 German airports brings most flights to a halt. Plus, the U.S. and Ukraine are set for new talks this week. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a volcanic eruption in Guatemala forces the evacuation of nearly 300 families, and authorities warn another 30,000 people could be at risk. The volcano of fire began erupting overnight. It stands more than 12,000 feet and is one of the most active in Central America. It last erupted in June of 2023. The volcano spewed gas and ash high into the sky Monday, leading authorities to close schools and a heavily traveled roadway. There are no immediate reports of casualties. Now, when the volcano erupted 7 years ago, 194 people were buried alive and 230 were reported missing. Well, travelers are stranded in Germany after a one-day strike at 13 German airports caused cancellations of most flights. The 24-hour walkout started at midnight and involves public sector employees at the airport as well as ground and security staff. German news agency DPA citing airport traffic management, saying more than 1,000 of the more than 1,100 scheduled takeoffs and landings at Frankfurt Airport were canceled as a result of the walkout. Now, the union announced the strike on Friday, but at Hamburg Airport, it added a short notice walkout on Sunday to Monday's job action. Now, these walkouts are related to two separate pay disputes. Talks are due to resume on Friday for public sector employees and for airport and security workers. Talks are expected to start on March 26th. Well, the U.S. and Ukraine are preparing for another round of talks this week on ending the war with Russia. Mike Emanuel is in Washington with the latest.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving in Saudi Arabia Monday ahead of high-stakes talks with Ukrainian counterparts. Tuesday's meeting resuming discussions to end the Russia-Ukraine war after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky 10 days ago was abruptly asked to leave the White House following a fiery exchange with President Trump.
You don't have the cards.
But on Sunday, the president on board Air Force One sounded hopeful and said a pause on sharing intelligence with Ukraine was, quote, just about lifted.
I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week.
Ukrainian President Zelensky also in Saudi Arabia, starting the week saying Ukraine is, quote, fully committed to talks with U.S. officials after the State Department last week reiterated U.S. support for Ukraine.
We want to help him.
In Paris Tuesday, military officials from more than 30 nations plan to discuss creating an international security force for Ukraine. This as Democrats accuse President Trump of bowing to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Congressional Republicans are not stepping up and just saying the very basic sentence of Ukraine is right, Russia is wrong.
As for Republicans, Senator Lindsey Graham says he is planning to submit a bill this week aimed at sanctioning Russia.
If they don't engage in ceasefire and peace talks with the administration, we should sanction the hell out of them.
If Moscow agrees to end the war in Ukraine, the United States is reportedly exploring the possibility of easing sanctions on Russia's energy sector.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start the feature track into this afternoon. Today, another fantastic day, well above normal out there. We'll have gusty winds, clear skies, and temperatures averaging about 80 for our highs. So again, well above average, maybe even at record levels for some of us. As we go overnight tonight, still gusty winds today, gusty winds tonight and into tomorrow. We'll have a few clouds here and there overnight, and in the first half of our Wednesday, we'll be mostly clear, and then going into the afternoon, clouds will begin to increase across the region. And then late Wednesday, we could see a few stray showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder, mainly along and south of I-44. Now, these chances are pretty low, but what we've got is a low pressure system down to our south and east that'll skirt by just close enough, you can see that swirl, that it might bring a couple of thunderstorms into our area. No severe weather is expected with any of this. In fact, on the severe thunderstorm tracker, you can see this light green. It's not down here because that light green is representative of what they call general thunderstorms. So nothing severe, but maybe some thunder associated with it. And again, you can see it's right along and south of I-44. So it's a low chance, but it is a chance we could get a thunderstorm or two as we head into late tomorrow evening. Temperatures this morning, we do have some upper 40s out there. Right now it looks like it's Neosho, Nowata, and Sedan. Everyone else, though, low to mid 50s to start the day. And we were in the upper 30s yesterday, so much milder across the area. It's breezy now, and again, it'll be breezy through today. Sunny skies, low 50s to start, and mid 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, ahead of highs about 80, so it means some upper 70s, low 80s, but about 80 out there. And those southwest winds gusting to around 30. Into this evening, clear skies continue. It won't be until after midnight. We'll start to see a few clouds back in the low to mid 50s and south winds gusting to 25. I know everybody's still talking about Friday. In fact, I just saw some posts out there from some of those interesting folks on the internet these days that are still highlighting us in the heart of doom and gloom. That doesn't look to be the case. Right now, the greater severe threat is expected to be off to our east as we head into Friday. Could we see some showers and thunderstorms late Friday? Absolutely. Are they going to be severe? That's still the question, because we're right on the edge of where this activity from this low pressure, see by Friday at 8, is going to start to take off and strengthen and become severe, possibly a significant severe event for our friends to the east. That said, this has been moved a little further east. So this possible line was backed up to about here, included most of southwest Missouri. It's been moved a little east. It's still in our area, but you can see that greater severe threat's been expanded and is also well off to our east. Will we see showers and storms on Friday again? I absolutely believe it's possible. Will they be strong or severe? That's the question we've got to keep an eye on over the next several days, and of course we'll keep you updated. That outlook will update again tomorrow morning, so we'll have more information then, but we are still looking at those rain chances. So very warm the next few days, breezy, while those southwest winds again gusting 30 today, 20 tomorrow. Showers, thunderstorms late Friday. A little cooler this weekend, but seasonably cool. And then we'll go back above normal to start next week. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a theft suspect may not have the stomach for that kind of work after an X-ray revealed he allegedly hid stolen jewelry from Tiffany's by swallowing it. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
This is the story of a Texas dude police say gulped down earrings as if they were food. X-ray images released by Orlando authorities show what's believed to be a pair of diamond-encrusted earrings alleged to have been swiped from a Tiffany store in Florida. Released surveillance shows the moment the suspect allegedly grabbed the jewelry, then fled. Officials believe the man swallowed the earrings, worth roughly $770,000, during his arrest on a Panhandle highway. According to the arrest report, he later asked, "Am I going to be charged for what's in my stomach?" Upon last check, officials were still waiting to recover the goods, so we'll have to see how it all shakes out. Another odd discovery of stolen goods in California in what turned out to be a roadside burial ground of sorts for stolen safes and even an ATM. KCAL reports a volunteer group made the find while doing highway cleanup along SoCal's 118, where they stumbled upon 2 sites full of abandoned empty safes, a gutted cash machine, as well as discarded personal effects like documents and passports. LAPD is now investigating and working to identify victims of this stolen goods graveyard. Finally, story 3 is about space debris. That's what officials say caused this luminous light show captured in the skies by eyewitnesses in Florida, the Bahamas, and more. It's what was left after a failed test of SpaceX's Starship rocket ended in an airborne explosion. The incident comes less than 2 months after a similar testing incident caused a similar freaky, streaky light show over similar seaside areas. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, definitely not the safest thing, but pretty cool to see nonetheless. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, a rare celestial alignment where 7 planets were visible in the sky was caught on camera by the Perennial Observatory in Chile. Astronomers say the event happens only once every 400 years. The planets look as if they're in a straight line in the sky, but that is due to their orbital paths. Chilean astronomers are anticipating a total lunar eclipse on March 14th, and they say this is a time to remember the importance of protecting the country's renowned dark skies, which are crucial for scientific observations. Light pollution and encroaching urban development could impact the pristine skyline. Well, a young trainer teaches his older dog some new tricks. To make history at a dog show competition, 6-year-old Freddie Osborne became the youngest trainer to compete and win at Crufts International Dog Show in the United Kingdom with his 8-year-old dog and best friend, Penny. Now, the duo finished first in the veteran breed category, and Osborne says Penny is more than just his pet and teammate. Osborne has spent his whole young life right by the side of his favorite pup.
Yeah, they really have grown up together, and he's quite a snappy dresser, too, so very impressive.
Very cute, too.
Very, very cute. And today's a great day if you want to take the dog outside. My kids did last night. It's a great day to do it again today. Low 50s to start, mid 60s by 11. Clear skies. I love clear skies into the afternoon, going about 80 for our highs, so a very warm day indeed. Southwest winds gusting to 30, and again, while we don't have any red flag advisories, I'm going to tell you right now, outdoor burning still not recommended, as we're still going to be dry and, of course, very breezy. Clear skies through the evening. Few clouds after midnight tonight. Back in the low 50s. Still breezy. South winds gusting to 25. And as we head into tomorrow, those south winds continue gusting to about 20. Upper 70s, low 80s again. Maybe a couple of showers or storms south of I-44 late tomorrow evening. Warm again Thursday. More storm chances on Friday, at least by late Friday, and cooler this weekend. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.